Hello and welcome to this lesson on intestinal health. Within this lesson, what we're going to talk about is the gut bacteria that's housed in your intestines. And we're going to talk mainly about your small intestines. This gut bacteria is essential for your immune system, but also up to 90% of all known human illnesses can be traced back to an unhealthy gut. So within this lesson, I'm going to explain to you how you can support and promote healthy gut bacteria. So we're going to talk about gut bacteria, prebiotics, which is also fiber, and probiotics, which can come from fermented foods. So when I talk about bacteria, I'm talking about the bacteria that's housed in your gut. There's different strains of bacteria in your gut. There's good strains, there's bad strains, but they can happily live in harmony together. But it's just you want to make sure that the good strains are in higher amounts than the bad strains as such. Now, a bad strain, say, would be E. coli, that if it gets out of control, you can become sick. But it's beneficial. There's a role for it in your body. So the human microbiome is the small little world of gut bacteria in your gut. So the bacteria that live in your gut are also known as the human microbiome. So this is all the bacteria that's housed within your gut. And think of the microbiome as a field. So you can have a field of grass, conventionally treated grass, or you can have a wild field. This is the example I'm going to give. So if you have a field and it's a wild garden, it's just left by itself. Some seeds will find their way there from the wind, from birds, from animals. And think of these seeds as different strains of bacteria that you've received from your mom. So from the human birth canal, from breast milk, from probiotics, and from exposure to environmental bacteria. This wild garden, with the help of the sun, the soil, and water, has thrived. So think of the sun, the soil, and the water as fiber, probiotic foods, and filtered water. This wild garden might look a little bit chaotic, but it's fully functional. So the plants there feed the local insects and animals. And then the bigger plants will shelter the smaller plants, encouraging them to grow. So it's a whole ecosystem in itself. Now, there will be poison ivy and there will be nettles, and these are not so friendly when they come in contact with animals or humans. But in small amounts, animals and humans adjust to their presence. Okay? So the nettles or the poison ivy are going to be strains of bacteria that don't promote health as such, but they're okay once they're kept in small amounts and controlled in that environment. Then we're going to think of a conventional field where someone has gone out, they've cut the grass, they've put weed killer on, they're keeping it that it looks just beautiful, like a golf course. Okay. So the natural flora have been stripped away. So the natural strains of bacteria such have been stripped away because of the weed killer, which is an antibiotic. The diversity of the area has been stripped right back, and it's not capable of maintaining the insects and animal life that the wild garden would be capable of maintaining. So in the gut, this is a result of consuming a diet that's high in sugar, low in fiber, chlorinated water, and antibiotic use. Okay? The human microbiome has health-promoting strains of bacteria. These are the ones we want to support, and also strains that can lead to the development of diseases in the human body. What we're always looking to do is to promote that wild garden, and that wild garden in itself will keep the strains of bacteria where they should be. So which garden would you like? The wild garden or the conventionally raised garden? So bacteria can be friendly and support health in the human body, or it can be unfriendly and it can damage the health of the host. So when a child is in the womb, the current thinking is that the environment is sterile, that there's no bacteria in the child's gut. But during birth, as the child moves through the birth canal, it picks up its mother's strains of bacteria, and these strains of bacteria start to colonize the child's intestines. Breast milk will also reinforce this colonization of the gut, and then if the child is born by C-section or formula fed, just bacteria needs to be made a priority to ensure the growth of friendly bacteria. So you need to be aware that you need to supplement with probiotics. You want to make sure that the child is exposed to healthy bacteria so that their gut can populate with healthy bacteria. Problem with growing up in a sterile environment can be the lack of diversity within the gut bacteria. So children should go out and play in the dirt. A childhood history dotted with antibiotic use can lead to the rise of unfriendly bacteria, and this can lead to the development of different diseases in the body. So when we talk about unfriendly bacteria, what are the risk factors for having unfriendly bacteria be the major population of bacteria in your gut? So there's a list of different questions here. I'm going to fly through them. If you're answering yes to a lot of these, it can be a sign that your gut bacteria might not be in the favor of where we want it to be. There could be less of the healthy strains of bacteria. So was your mother prescribed antibiotics or steroids while she was pregnant with you? Were you born by C-section? Were you breastfed for less than a month? Did you suffer from frequent ear or throat infections as a child? Did you require ear tubes as a child? Did you have your tonsils removed? Have you ever needed steroid medications for more than 1 week, including steroid nasal or breathing inhalers? Do you take antibiotics at least once every 2 to 3 years? And that's, of course, antibiotics once every 2 to 3 years, because that's just going to kill off all your bacteria. Do you take acid blocking drugs for digestion, so for reflux, for heartburn? Are you gluten sensitive? Do you have any food allergies? Are you extra sensitive to chemicals found in everyday foods and goods? Have you been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease? Do you have type 2 diabetes? Are you more than 20 pounds or 10 kilograms overweight? Do you suffer from irritable bowel syndrome? Do you have diarrhea or loose bowel movements at least once a month? And do you suffer from depression? Any of these, if you're answering yes to a lot of these, it can be a sign that your gut bacteria is